As dawn breaks over London, the first light filters through a cool mist that clings to the River Thames. Tower Bridge looms majestically, its arches framing a scene of tranquility amid the city's bustling heartbeat. Beneath this iconic structure, Arthur stirs from his slumber, the gentle lapping of water coaxing him to embrace another day. The old fisherman, his weathered hands skilled yet gentle, moves with a quiet grace as he prepares the Dreamcatcher, his faithful fishing boat. Each creak of the vessel and rustle of his gear blends harmoniously with the distant sounds of waking commuters, cars honking, the chatter of voices, and the faint echo of footsteps on the bridge above. In that serene moment, Arthur feels both the weight of solitude and the pulse of the city intertwined. Here, under the watchful gaze of Tower Bridge, he is not just a fisherman, he is a guardian of stories, ready to cast his line into the mysterious waters below. The heartbeat of the Thames was as familiar to Arthur as his own pulse. Each morning, as the sun began to pry the shadows from the riverbanks, he felt the ebb and flow synchronize with his thoughts. Over decades spent beneath Tower Bridge, he had become attuned to the rhythm of life around him. The subtle sigh of the water as it lapped against the wooden hull of the Dreamcatcher, the soft calls of the swans gliding by, and the far-off chatter of early commuters weaving their own stories into the fabric of London. Arthur often mused on how the river held a mirror to his own journey, reflecting both the moments of calm and the storms he had navigated. Here, beneath this grand structure, he gathered not only fish, but also the whispers carried by the wind, stories of hope, regret, and dreams long hidden, each waiting to be reeled in, each a testament to the life flowing onward beneath the city he loved. Arthur awoke to the soft, muted light of dawn filtering through the mist that enveloped Tower Bridge. The river, ever the faithful companion, whispered gently against the hull of the Dreamcatcher, its rhythm a soothing melody. With a practiced grace he began his morning routine, his weathered hands moving deftly despite their age. He prepared his fishing gear with care, laying out the familiar hooks and lines that had captured countless fish and even more memories. As the city stirred to life, the distant sounds of traffic mingled with the gentle call of the swans gliding by. For Arthur, this was a sacred ritual, a dance between him and the Thames. Each cast of his line felt like a prayer sent into the water, a hope wrapped in the shimmering dawn. With every pull and tug of the current, he felt the heartbeat of London echo through him, alive, dynamic, and full of untold tales waiting to be woven. As Arthur settled into his boat, the mists swirling around him began to lift, revealing the glistening surface of the Thames. The air was alive with the promise of a new day, and in that quiet stillness, Arthur felt the legends of the river come alive. He often shared tales of the shimmering silver fish, a mystical creature said to swim beneath the waves. Local lore whispered that those lucky enough to catch the fish could glimpse their heart's deepest desire. But the gift came tethered to a burden. One must confront the truth of that longing. Arthur smiled softly, recalling the fishermen who had come before him, casting their lines in hopes of finding solace or fulfillment. With every story shared beneath the grand Tower Bridge, the river itself seemed to listen, holding their dreams close, waiting for the moment they would rise to the surface, just like the fish they sought. Arthur sat back in his weathered boat, the gentle swells of the Thames cradling him as he recalled the stories whispered by the river over the years. Beneath the arching shadows of Tower Bridge, he had met many fishermen, each carrying their own burdens, their tales intertwined with the currents of the water. One man, a young lad with a hopeful glint in his eye, had once shared his dreams of conquering the waves and finding fortune. Yet, as the tide turned, he returned, worn and weary, his ambitions dashed against the rocks of reality. Arthur listened as others spoke of love lost and dreams abandoned, each tale echoing like a soft murmur beneath the surface. As he leaned against the side of the Dreamcatcher, he realized the river was not just a backdrop to his life, but a keeper of collective stories. Each fisherman cast their line, not only into the water but into their own desires, secrets, and hopes, each whisper reminding Arthur of what lay beneath, both in the Thames and within their hearts. The morning light filtered through the mist, casting a silvery sheen over the Thames as Arthur settled into his familiar rhythm, lines weighted and ready to embrace the day. It was one of those rare mornings when the world around him fell into a hushed reverie, the gentle lapping of water against the hull of the Dreamcatcher becoming a soothing cadence that resonated deep within his heart. As he cast his line, a whisper of anticipation stirred in the cool air, sending a thrill through his fingertips. The water rippled, dancing beneath the surface, and then, there it was. A tug, faint yet electrifying, pulling at him with a promise he could hardly comprehend. Arthur's breath hitched as his heart raced. This felt different, a call from the depths of the river itself. He gripped the rod tightly, aware that today might unveil something extraordinary, a fleeting moment where dreams and reality intertwined like the currents below. Arthur strained against the gentle tug on his line, the sensation unlike any he'd felt before. With steady hands and a racing heart, he reeled it in, expecting the glimmer of his fabled silver fish. But as he drew the object closer, he realized it was something far more profound, a locket, wrapped in years of sediment and stories. Its ornate design caught the first rays of sunlight, revealing intricate carvings that hinted at a history waiting to be unearthed. Gently, he removed the locket from his line, trembling with anticipation. As he opened it, a faded photograph slipped out, a young woman with shining eyes, full of laughter and unfulfilled dreams. A fragile note accompanied it, its ink barely legible but imbued with poignant words about love and the courage to embrace one's true self. At that moment, it wasn't just a relic from the past. It was a key unlocking the door to his own buried desires, urging him to remember who he once aspired to be. As Arthur gently held the locket, a cascade of emotions washed over him, carrying him into the past. He envisioned the young woman, the light in her eyes reflecting the dreams she had once nurtured while standing atop Tower Bridge. He imagined her laughter mingling with the sounds of the city, a warmth that seemed to flicker like candlelight. But with each vibrant image came a shadow, hinting at heartaches and unfulfilled aspirations. He saw her gazing longingly at the river, envisioning futures that could never be, her heart anchored to hopes that were slowly drifting away. In that moment, Arthur grasped a powerful truth. Each life is a tapestry woven with threads of love and loss, courage and fear. The woman's story echoed within him, awakening long-buried dreams he had tucked away in the corners of his solitude. With her memories stirring him to action, he felt the pull of the Thames not just as a river, but as a reminder of life's precious fluidity. Arthur sat in the fragile morning light, the locket cradled in his hands like a treasure from another time. As he traced the delicate engravings, memories surged within him, memories dulled by years of routine and solitude. The echo of laughter, the thrill of youthful dreams, all buried beneath the relentless weight of his chosen life beneath the bridge. He was not just a fisherman, he was a vessel for hopes unfulfilled, tides of ambition stilled by the passage of time. The young woman's spirit, now intertwined with his own, awakened an ember of desire to reclaim what he had long neglected. He remembered the dreams that once danced in his heart, the aspirations that painted his youth with vibrant colors. With each ripple on the Thames, he felt an urge to explore the depths of his own desires, to confront the ghosts of lost opportunities, and reignite the flame of possibility once more. Arthur sat in the gentle embrace of dawn, the mists curling around him like whispers. With the locket nestled in his weathered palm, he felt a pulse of connection to the young woman and her lost dreams. The Thames, ever present, beckoned him to honor her story, a melody woven into the fabric of his own existence. He leaned back in his boat, gazing at the water, now sparkling with 1,000 reflections. Each ripple seemed to echo the hopes of those who had once cast their lines into its depths. Arthur realized that this river held tales of healing, promises of renewal, an invitation to rekindle his own ambitions. With a newfound determination, he let the current guide his thoughts. The silence around him transformed into a chorus of possibility, reminding him that he too could rediscover the man he once aspired to be. The Thames whispered encouragement, urging him to embrace the journey ahead. Arthur felt a shift within him as he sat in his modest boat, the Dreamcatcher, cradled by the gentle ripples of the Thames. No longer was he merely a fisherman casting his line for fish. He was now fishing for the heart, his own heart. Each cast became an exploration, not just of the water below, but of the emotions that had long lain dormant beneath the surface. He began to share stories of his past with the river, recounting moments of joy, sorrow, and everything in between. The swans, gliding by as if part of the very fabric of his memories, listened intently, their graceful presence a reminder of life's fragile beauty. He sought to connect with the essence of those dreams he had set aside, allowing the whispers of the Thames to guide him. With every passing moment he felt lighter, more alive, a man renewed, ready to embrace the unknown depths of his desires. The morning air held a palpable tension as the clouds shifted above, casting an array of shadows over the Thames. Arthur watched the water swirl, a reflection of the changes within his own heart. It mirrored his evolving thoughts, each ebb and flow pulling him closer to a deeper understanding of himself. The occasional gust of wind brought whispers of potential, rustling the leaves of nearby trees as if encouraging him to take the leap. With each passing moment, Arthur felt the weight of his past lift, replaced by a newfound courage. As he cast his line once more, it was no longer just the thrill of the catch that drove him, it was the promise of possibility. The river's surface rippled with prospects, reminding him that just as the tide changes, so too could his life. He embraced the unknown, daring to face the fears that had long kept him anchored to his solitary routine. Here, beneath Tower Bridge, hope surged like the awakening city around him. As Arthur leaned against the weathered wood of his boat, he gazed up at the towering arches of Tower Bridge, its stone facade a silent witness to countless stories whispered beneath its grandeur. The river flowed steadily beneath him, a reminder of the paths taken and the bridges crossed throughout his life. Each ripple seemed to carry the essence of dreams, some realized, others lost to the relentless current of time. Reflecting on the people who had shared their hopes with him, he felt a profound connection to their journeys. The lives entwined beneath the bridge were like strands of a tapestry, woven together by shared experiences and the universal search for meaning. Arthur understood that to navigate life is to embrace its ebb and flow, to acknowledge the moments of joy and sorrow as equal parts of the human experience. Amid this realization, he found comfort, the knowledge that every dream held the potential to rise again, much like the waters of the Thames that never ceased to flow.